morning, everybody. It's your friendly neighborhood old soldier coming at you again on a cool morning. Finally starting to warm up a little bit around here. You guessed it, Robeson County, North Carolina. And if you're seeing this video, that means you survived the mother-loving, end of the world, apocalyptic, gonna kill us all solar eclipse that everybody kept yapping about all day yesterday. Oh, wait a minute, let's back that up. That's all the freaking news talked about for over a month, was this coming eclipse. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I get it. It was an eclipse. Moon passed in front of the sun. Happens every so many years. I hate to say it, but whoop-de-doo-dah day. I don't get into eclipses. Never have. Probably never will. Yeah, where we're at here, got a little dark. That's all. For about an hour and a half max. That was it. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. The world didn't blow up, you know. I don't get the big deal over it, but that's just me. And I'll tell you how bad it was here, one of our local news stations that goes under the handle of WRAL. A bunch of communist sons of guns. All they talked about yesterday morning was two things: the eclipse and the shooting on Grove Street in Fayetteville at a gas station. Well, the shooting on Grove Street at the gas station in Fayetteville is not an uncommon occurrence in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Grove Street in North Carolina and Fayetteville, North Carolina is not one of the brighter spots of Fayetteville. Just saying. So you can get a clear understanding of why I just don't get the whole hype of what they were yapping about on that. I'm not saying it's a good thing. By no means, but it's just proof in the pudding that some of our news stations around here really go to reach for a story. And yes, there's actually more than just those two items, but those were the two major headlines they had yesterday. I thought, well, if that's all you've got for headlines, you've got some piss poor journalists, which they actually do. They actually do. They lie on conservatives and they overtout liberals. How bad are they? Well, when Governor McCrory was elected governor, all of a sudden they had to create a governor's approval chart. Yeah. No other candidate in elected history did they ever do that. Governor McCrory got elected as a Republican governor. Oh yeah, they had to have an approval chart. A promise chart, I think is what it was, to show where he was fulfilling all his campaign promises, the ones he didn't. Of course, you know, they lied about the voter ID law that Governor McCrory got passed during his tenure as governor. Because of the lies they told, they gaslighted the public. And of course, there's that big fat buffet slayer, the Reverend William Barber, who every time they interviewed him about that first voter ID law here in North Carolina, that fat Sal would get up there and tell people, you know, well, black people can't get a driver's license, you know, not all of, well, that's not what the bill said, that was not what the law stated. So you had to have a photo ID, not a driver's license, sir. So let's try this again. Well, they can't afford to get a driver's license. Well, again, not a driver's license, just a state ID. And oh, by the way, if they can't afford it, we'll provide it to you, the person, free of charge. Because state ID at the time was only $10. The state was willing to waive that if the person couldn't pay the fee. Somehow it got declared unconstitutional as it supposedly suppressed certain groups of people from their right to vote. However, that same buffet slayer reverend dude, William Barber, could organize a group of people to get a bunch of vans together during election week and take people from pole to pole to register and vote the same day. That doesn't sound suspicious? Yeah. So we passed it again. Got another one passed through the legislature. Just after Roy Boy Pooper Scooper got elected governor. It got shot down. We finally got one now that supposedly, went in during this last primary last month. People went to the polls, voted in the primaries, had to show ID for the first time. Well, thank God. So in November when we go to the polls, we'll have to show our ID, and I'm all for it, and glad of it, and all that good who-nanny mess. But that's to tie into the fact that WRL is one of the leading news stations in this area that supported the lie instead of the truth, which surprised me. There's not really any media sources around here right now that are televised and tell the truth about anything. They're after two things. They're supporting a bigger liberal agenda, and they're also trying to get ratings to pad their pockets. They'd rather tell a sensational lie than to tell the hard truth. So, anyhow, anyway, folks. It's for you, Brother Kyle. Anyhow, anyway. Getting out here on this good old Interstate 95. Headed southbound to go to work. Slow down. Speed limit says 60 due to construction, but Mr. Mercedes-Benz up here seems to think that his crap don't stink. He can get away with speeding, so let me slow down so he sticks out like a sore thumb. I don't. But yeah, I just wanted to check in with you folks, let you know I'm still alive, still kicking. Just been busy with my business, with J&L Shooting Academy. Doing range updates, making range improvements every day, those kinds of things. That there's really not been a whole lot that I want to get on here and talk about in regards to what's going on around everywhere. I am sick of these protesters that talk about how they hate the USA and free Gaza and stop the invasion. I'm like, well, why don't y'all just pack your asses up, move over there yourselves? Especially the ones that belong to the alphabet community. Take your butt over there and go tell some Hamas guy that, hey, I'm for you. See how quick you go flying off the top of a building. Yeah. Those cold hard truths you don't like. But there you have it. If y'all hate America so much, pack your ass up and leave. Not to mention our border crisis, getting worse every day. And all they're doing if they get caught by the border patrols, they're giving a summons to appear in an immigration court to plead their case. And then they're giving free money, free to them, not us. Because we're paying for it, if you didn't know it. Gives them spending money, a plane or bus ticket, and to a city or locality of their choice. Where it said mention court date time, they're supposed to show up at this immigration court to have their case tried. However, the previous, let's say it was Pompeo, might be wrong on this one, but I'm pretty sure it was Pompeo when he was being grilled by that idiot AOC who can't even conjugate a sentence, let alone 10 bar decently. Kept harping at him, hounding at him, Well, a political asylum, and he just looked at her and says, we understand that they're supposed to come through a port of legal entry to seek political asylum, not just walk across the border, because walk across the border is a crime. Because she kept harping on, what crime have they committed, Mr. Secretary, what that? And, barely giving time to answer. He finally just put his foot down and said, they illegally crossed the border which has been supported by the U.S. Supreme Court, yada yada. And he went on and just made her look like the idiot she was already making herself look like. So now we've got a law enforcement agency who took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. They're violating that oath when they're not turning the people around at the border and sending them back. Put them in a detention center and process them for deportment immediately. No, here's your court summons. Welcome to America. Yet we got homeless veterans still sleeping on the streets. Me off. Homeless veterans on the streets. But we can give this money to illegal immigrants. And they ain't migrants. They're not undocumented persons. They are illegal immigrants or aliens. Illegal aliens to this country. And we're giving them basically free room and board. Why? Because the communists in Congress are wanting this to happen. They're not allowing it to happen. They are wanting it to happen. You see, if they have it their way, boys and girls, girls and boys, they're going to try and pass some type of blanket amnesty and automatic citizenship. Part of it, I think they're starting to lose people from their base of voters. A large segment of the left are starting to wake up to the bullshit of the Democratic Party. And they're sick of it. Or their eyes have been unmasked to the truth. And they can't stand what they're seeing. Now a lot of them won't admit that conservatives have been right all along. You may never get them to admit that. But they're starting to see the truth for what it is. Now, will that make a difference come November? Who knows? Because I have no faith in the election system. I will still go show up to the polls and do my due diligence, but I'm also preparing for the worst case disaster that's going to come afterwards. I hope I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong. But as it's been said, I'll say it again, as it's been said by many others, our freedom is but one generation away from being lost. I'll say this with all the vigor I can muster. Our public education system is definitively warping the minds of our young people today. They're not teaching them real history. They darn sure aren't teaching them anything on civics whatsoever. Nor economics. That's the other thing. A lot of the young folks I deal with have no qualms about public assistance. They just think that it's automatic entitlement. They think they should get it. No questions asked. Got one young man I talked to. He talks about where he worked at. When he got his first or second paycheck, the realization how much they were taking out in taxes, he says it's not fair. So what do you mean it's not fair? Why should I have to pay taxes? I'm still in high school. It doesn't matter, they're hero. You chose to enter the workforce. Okay? You chose to enter the workforce. It's just not right. Well, so you should be exempt from paying taxes because you feel it's not right. Me personally, I think personal income tax ought to go away. It should be just a national sales tax. And, you know, all these people come over here on vacation from other countries. Yeah. Every time you buy something, yeah. Oh, by the way, if you got one of them fancy EBT cards, should be sales tax applied to it. Get some of that money back. That's my solution. I didn't say it was right, didn't say it was wrong. Just saying it's my solution. Or better yet, that card can only be used to access cash. It can't be used at stores. So you got to go get cash out. Guess what happens when you pay cash? You got to pay that sales tax. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I really don't give a rat's ass. But we've got to stop spending money hand over fist. Yep, I'm on a hell of a rant today, folks. I'm going to get off here because I got to go pull into some Bojangles and get me some biscuits for my breakfast. Y'all stay safe out there. Keep your eyes open. Keep your head on a swivel. All that happy horse mess. Be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. That's your friendly neighborhood old soldier out.